Hello, 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 hello. Come on in, everybody. Hope you're doing well this morning. I'm doing good. Today, woke up early, got, got a good workout in at um, CrossFit gym. And man, I'm fired up about this week. It's gonna be well, it's what is today? Tuesday. So it's already, you know what I'm saying? It's already Tuesday. So what you doing today? What's you got going on today? Where you watching from? Um, how you doing tonight? Tonight I've got a group coaching call that I would love to invite you to. So I don't know when you're watching this. Maybe you're watching this live. Maybe you're watching this on the replay. And man, I just want to invite you to jump into that. It's a group that I have called Circle of Hope, and it's incredible. It's a private group where people share, man, triumphs, and we share hard times, and man, we just get to be together. And then at night, once a month, we do a group coaching call where we all come together. And I would encourage you to get in it. The link, I have posted it all over the place, and come on, like, get in it. It's free for 7 days. I think it's a worthwhile investment. If you don't believe me, you can talk to the people in the community who have really seen some great growth. So that's exciting for me tonight. And then on Thursday, my wife and I are going to the CrossFit Games. They are in Fort Worth, and that's gonna be awesome. So we are very excited about going to the games in Fort Worth and just hanging out for those 4 days with some friends. Coming in from Cleveland. So, yeah, where y'all watching from? How you doing, man? Where y'all need to wake up. I mean, it's go time today. I don't know what y'all been doing. My man, the craftsman here, Johnny, he said he's driving to counsel a little dude to talk about Jesus and baptism. Bro, let's go. Johnny. Man, Johnny, you've been on my heart today. Man, been lifting you up. And yesterday, if man, if I can do anything for you, I am 100% here, and I know you got that today. I don't know if y'all saw, but the title of today's live stream is what is a boundary and how do we set them? That's not really the title. I just said that because it sounds really good. What is a boundary and how do we set them? And boundaries are something that are very, very important. But before we get into it, um, Johnny, Johnny, I know you're watching. Is this your first baptism at the new space in the church that you started? And you're driving and texting. You know what? God bless you. But I think we're all really good at that these days. Not that you should do it. And the other day, y'all, oh my gosh, the other day, so I was driving and I was texting, and my daughter, who is she just turned 13, she said, "Hey, Dad, um, boom, Johnny will baptize two people on Sunday, and he might be a third, bro. Let's go." That fires me up, dude. Um, Remember that time you had me come and preach? That was fun. That was really fun. I love it. That was really good. But back to the story about my 13-year-old daughter calling me out. She, so we're driving, and I'm on my phone, obviously texting, which I shouldn't have been. And she goes, "Dad, have you ever dribbled a basketball and at the same time tried to like throw a tennis ball in the air and catch it?" And I'm like thinking like, "No, I don't think I've done that." And she goes, "Well, it's really hard because it takes two sides of your brain, and it's kind of like texting and driving." Oh, she got me. Like she got me for sure. So texting and driving, you're using two parts of your brain is what she was saying. And what a poor example of a father that I was that day. And so I got to get better at it. Johnny Marks, the first one, baptism, man, that's awesome. Let's run it back, dude. I'm in, dude. You know I'm in. Just send me that private jet like you did, and man, that was really, really nice. My wife just got on the. Just kidding. The private jet was a Forerunner, and it was nice, a real nice Forerunner. Who's on Instagram right now? Hey, girl, Jada, getting ready to hit the gym and then therapy. Girl, that's what I'm talking about. Yesterday, so I can share this with you guys. Obviously, I share everything. But yesterday, I went to a new therapist here in Texas, and it's funny for me. It's really not funny, but going into a therapist when you like a new therapist, and I'm like analyzing and like I'm checking out their office, and I mean, it's a whole thing since I've done a little bit of therapy in my time. And so I went to a new therapist yesterday here in Texas, and it was really good. It was a great experience. We're gonna do some things that I've never really worked on before, which is really exciting. So Jay Damick, good to see you on here. Juliana, Alf, what is up, everybody coming on the Instagram? Y'all need to switch on over to the YouTubes if you can, because that's where it's at. But I'm just glad you're on here on Instagram. So good to see you guys. On Instagram, I'm bothered by Instagram, y'all. They're dirty. Like they suppress posts and suppress also like even live feeds. Whatever. It's dumb, but that's what they do. They make it hard for people who want to heal to learn to heal. They literally will take posts that I put out there that talk about healing and talk about people getting better and talk about all the things, and they suppress it. So it makes it hard for people to heal. So yeah, Jada, I'm with you. I don't even want to support Instagram. I'm gonna go get on over at YouTube. Good, because yeah, it's a thing, man. It really is a thing. Here's a link to YouTube. It's really a lot more fun. But I'm just trying to hit up all the stuff. So here you go. There's the YouTube link for all of you. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, they really yeah, man, they do some crazy stuff. Instagram, I know you hear me. You'll probably turn off my live feed now, but that's okay. So, but what I want to talk about today is setting boundaries. And here's what I want you to know. So, I'm going to talk about this. And this is not something that like I feel I am just like, "Oh, Jada, I see you on here." Instead doing people dirty. Amen. Yes, like big time. But that's okay. That's where we got to set boundaries, Jada, on the Instagrams. So, anyways, but today I want to talk about setting boundaries, and this is not like something that I'm like awesome at. This is something that I am actually growing in, and I'm learning and I'm understanding. But I wish that I would have known more about it so long ago. I wish that I would have realized that setting boundaries is a way that freedom can come into your life. And I think for me, with some of the trauma and the abuse that I went through as a child, and how it just all showed up when I was 38 years old, I kind of felt like setting boundaries is I can't do that, or maybe setting boundaries was pushing people away, or was going to hurt people, or I was putting up these boundaries so that I don't know, just this subconscious thinking about setting boundaries. And so today, I want to hopefully help as we can talk about setting boundaries. So first thing is, what in the world is a boundary? Like, you hear people like, okay, you got to set boundaries. We need to set a boundary. I'm setting a boundary. Okay, well, what is a boundary? And a boundary, it's like an invisible line that defines what you are comfortable with and how you expect to be treated by others. So it's a line that is there that is going to define what you are comfortable with and how you expect to be treated by others. It's a way that you can communicate your needs and limits in in all the different areas of your life, such as your time, your energy, your emotions, and even your personal space. Like, hey, boundary. I don't know. I don't know. Like you. I'm not sure, but let me know. Like I I can't stand. Like if you were to come up to me right now and touch my face, dude, that just like sets it. It's just the thing. Don't touch my face. And if you, whoever you are, if you were to show up right now and just like touch, like that is just not a good thing. So I have a boundary. Like if you come to touch my face, I'm gonna slap your hand. Okay, don't. We're gonna set that boundary real quick. Okay, don't touch my face. And I've got other boundaries that I set, and I've set with people that I know. The reason I'm doing it is really not for them. Now, I want you to hear that. We set boundaries. Sometimes we think I'm going to set a boundary so that this person, will not whatever. And this was an eye-opening moment for me and or for one of my clients when I was meeting with her, and we were talking about setting boundaries and talking about parents and different things like that. And we're talking about why. I asked her, "Why do you set boundaries?" And she said, "Well, um, sorry, Jada. I just saw Erica would throat punch me if I tried to touch the face." Sorry. Oh gosh, I love going live because you guys can just say whatever and it completely throws me off. But dadgummit, Jada, that was good in the comments. Thank you for saying that. Uh Goodness gracious, where was I talking about boundaries, talking about other things? I completely forgot, but it was good. It was really good. So I'll run it back. Anyways, but you've got to set these boundaries. And here's why we set boundaries. Why do we need to set boundaries? Here's three reasons why I encourage you that we need to set boundaries and why it is so beneficial to do it. The first thing is it prevents burnout and overwhelm. And when you can set these up, man, it's going to help you maybe at work, maybe with your spouse, maybe with family, maybe with friends. As you know that you have set up boundaries, you know that you don't have to worry about like, oh gosh, I'm going to see this person and they're going to blah 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 blah. You know, I remember what I was talking about with the client is that she was questioning like, who are these boundaries for? A lot of times we think the boundaries is to keep people out, right? Like stay away. But really the boundaries for you. The boundary is for you to be able to rest, to be able to know that you have set these, and to be able to know like I've set these and I'm taking care of myself, and this is what I'm doing for myself. And so that is why you set boundaries. So the three reasons that it's beneficial to you, the first one I just said, it helps to prevent burnout and overwhelm. The second thing is it enhances your self-esteem and self-respect. And how do I know that? Well, I know that because I've set boundaries before, and then you're kind of like, man, that felt really good. Like, and it gives you this confidence, like, man, I took care of myself. Like that was a really good thing to do, is to set that boundary, and you become kind of like proud of yourself um when you set it, and then when you reinforce the boundary, right? Like and we're going to talk about that. How do we reinforce it, and how do we make sure we keep that boundary up? Because you can set a boundary and like, hey, I'd appreciate if whatever that boundary is, hey, you're gonna text or call at this time, or you're gonna treat me this way, or we're only gonna hang out this much, or you're dating and like, hey, we're not gonna go beyond here in our relationship. And it's good to set those boundaries, but you got to keep them up. If you set the boundary and then you kind of like, you let them down, man, you're missing it. You've got to enforce the boundary, because if you're somebody who sets boundaries, like you're just like, blah, like you say a lot of things, and you have a lot of words and you just kind of talk a lot and you really have no idea what you're saying, and you may tell the same story a billion times, the same thing all the time, and you just kind of keep saying that. And then you're going to set a boundary, but then you forget you set the boundary. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to set the boundary, reinforce the boundary, keep it up, make it strong. Because once people realize, oh, he or she is not messing around, man, that's freedom for you. And it doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be harsh. It doesn't have to be. It's just you're taking care of yourself. Like you're taking care of you. So 3 reasons why it's beneficial. The first one, prevents burnout and overwhelm. The second one, it enhances your self-worth, self-respect, self-esteem. And the third one, it improves your relationships. How in the world can it improve relationships? Because you set clear expectations. You reduce misunderstandings, you reduce conflict. Sometimes in friendships and relationships, the other person on the other side of the relationship is thinking everything's great, but you're kind of continuing to get upset and mad, and you're just like, it's and they're like, what is happening? And then you blow up one time. And then this is when someone says, man, if you would have just told me, that wouldn't have been a problem. Like if you would have just said, hey, I'm being a little bit too much, or if you would have just said like, whatever that is, man, that's a game changer in your relationships, especially at work. When you're at work and you have a team of people that you work with, and you see the same people all the time, and maybe there's a coworker that you're just like drives you crazy. And by the way, maybe you drive them crazy as well. What if instead of like getting irritated and upset and all the things that they keep coming into your office, or they keep saying the same thing, or they keep bothering you, what if you sat down with this person and said, hey, man, I just need you to know that the way that you talk to me, or the way that you keep coming in, or the way that you keep doing these things is just a lot, and I care about you. And so I need you to work on that, because it's only going to help our relationship. And most of the time people are going to be like, man, you know what? I'm sorry. Thanks for telling me that. I really appreciate that. And you're just showing them that that's important to you and that they're important to you. And so, man, setting boundaries is super important. Again, a boundary is an invisible line that defines what you are comfortable with and how you expect to be treated by others. So how do we set boundaries? So that's the benefits of boundaries. How do we set boundaries? Well, the first thing is you need to identify your limits. Identify your limits. So what I mean by that is I want you to start thinking about situations that make you feel uncomfortable, stressed, or resentful. So what are those situations that make you feel uncomfortable, stressed, or resentful? These are usually signs that your boundaries are being crossed in some area. And so ask yourself, what's important to you and what do you need in this moment? This could be, man, I just need alone time. This could mean, man, I need this. This could mean I don't want to discuss certain topics. This could mean how much work you're going to do to help others. There's all sorts of ways, but you need to look at your limits. When you can, if I was working with you as a client, and this is a process that I do with my clients, I would say to them, here's what I want you to do. I want you to visualize the moment when you got upset, the moment when you were irritated. And then I want you to think, what was it that really got you going? You can say triggered, you can say upset you, but what was it? Then I would say that was probably because a boundary was crossed. And does that person know that you're not going to be treated that way? Or does that person know that, man, handling it this way isn't the best way? Does that other person know that? And if not, I would encourage that client, hey, maybe you should go and talk to them today. And then I hold them accountable for that. And that's the hardest part about coaching is like, with a therapist. So with a therapist, like, I went yesterday to a new therapist and I go in and talk and do all the things, and then I leave, and then I go and see him again next week. With a coach, here's what you get is you get 24/7 accountability. Like I'm literally asking them, okay, so we talked about this yesterday and I follow up with them. So how'd it go? and they're like, dang it, I didn't do it. And that's okay. But today's the day, or a lot of people that I'm working with right now, they're like, I just want to get in better shape. I want to, be more disciplined. And so I get up early and I text them saying, hey, what's up? Where you at? What you doing? And so that's the fun part about coaching is I get to keep people accountable. And that's what people are paying for. They're not paying to go to a counselor and we just talk for an hour and we move on. No, these people are investing in a coach that walks alongside with them as a guide to help them. And so if you're interested in that, let me know. Would love to work with you, or maybe you have a loved one that you would love to get signed up to be to allow me to coach them. It would be awesome. I'm seeing some crazy, awesome, life-changing things. Actually, I have a review on my Instagram. You should go check it out from a dude named Kevin that I worked with, and it was really, really cool. More reviews. I don't know if they're reviews or testimonials. Testimonial is probably a better word. But anyways, so how do we set boundaries? Number one, we need to identify our limits. Number two, we need to communicate clearly. Communicate clearly. That means this. Let's say, for example, if you need time to yourself, you need to tell your coworker, you need to tell your spouse, you need to tell somebody, I just need like you're feeling like like you've identified, like, I just feel like I can't ever turn it off. And it's just, all the time. Here's would be really cool. Just talk to your spouse, talk to your coworker, talk to whoever it may be and say, hey, I need 30 minutes of just silence. And they're like, okay. Is that why you're cranky pants? And you're like, yeah, because I need to unwind. I need to chill. I need you out of my office. And so set that boundary of like, here's what that's going to look like. So every day from bump to bump, I need you to, and that's good. So communicate that clearly. And then when you are communicating it, start with I comments versus you. Okay. I need 30 minutes. I feel overwhelmed when I'm expected to answer all the emails all the times. I feel this way versus you. Because remember, the boundary is not for them. The boundary is for you. And when you are wanting to set up a boundary with somebody, it's better to say, I feel, I. And most of the time, man, people are pretty cool. Like people are people. There's way more good folk than there is jerk folk in this world. I know the news makes it look like everybody's bad and all the things, but it's just not true. So using I statements is the way to go, because I've done the you statements. Okay. That doesn't work out very well. When you tell somebody like you have done this and you're like, oh, and they get really upset and mad and you're like, I didn't mean it like that. So communicate clearly and really think through it. And then the last one, be consistent and firm. Be consistent and firm. When you're setting boundaries, you're going to identify your limits. You're going to find out what it is. The second one, you're going to communicate clearly. And the third one, you're going to be consistent and firm. Consistency is the key. And once you've communicated your boundaries, we talked about a second ago, stick with them. Like, stick with them. And if you let other people cross your boundaries without consequences, it sends the message that your limits aren't important. It's just like with kids. If I say, hey, we're not going to do this, and then like the next day I let them do this, come on, man. Like, what am I teaching them? I'm teaching them they can just run me over. And so you want to stick to those. And man, I just encourage you, be consistent and stay with it. And maybe you're like, man, I don't know if this is the right boundary. I don't know how to handle. I don't know what to do with this. Man, let me know. I'd love to we can walk through it. I can help you figure that out for yourself so that you can set these boundaries. Because boundaries, listen, I know it's such like it seems so easy, but it is really hard to do. It is hard to do it. Why is it hard? Is because we love people. We don't want to hurt people. We don't want to push people away. We don't know what their reaction is going to be. And so we have all these anxious thoughts that go into even setting a boundary. So you're becoming anxious before you can even set the boundary. But here's what you need to understand. In the long run, setting the boundary is going to be the best thing to do. And it's going to help you like crazy. I promise. It's going to help like crazy. So But there, check out this verse. Check out this verse, Proverbs 4:23. And before I read that, if you're on here and you're watching live, do you have any questions or any questions you have about setting boundaries? How do you set boundaries? What's the best way to do it? I would love to answer that question. But Proverbs 4:23 says this. Check this out. Above all else, comma, guard your heart, comma. Proverbs 4:23, above all else, above everything else, guard your heart. Now, why is it important to guard our heart? Why is it important to do that? Because when we are unguarded, that's when the enemy can come in and completely destroy us. You know, so many of you are working so hard on your mental health. You're working hard on overcoming things. You're overcomers, and you're gaining authority in areas in your life. And here's what happens when we do that: we're removing the crap out of our hearts and out of our minds and out of the way. And what are we filling it with? What are we filling it with? Hopefully, you're filling it with truth. Hopefully, you're filling it with the Lord. But if we don't guard it from what we're taking in, what we're listening to, what we're watching, who we're listening to, who is giving us advice, who we are actually allowing into our spaces, if we don't guard our hearts and our minds, then we're in trouble. And maybe you're like, man, why? You know, there's some people out there who don't need to be speaking into your life. Like, well, who could that be? I can't answer that question for you, but I want you to look at the fruit of their life. You know, what is the fruit of their life? Not what is the words of their life. What is the fruit of their life? If the fruit is rotten, then you probably don't need to be listening to them. You probably don't need to be allowing them into your life, into your heart space. So again, we're talking about boundaries. And then I go to Proverbs 4, verse 23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. This is an important verse about protecting you. So guard your heart. Today, guard your heart. Today, guard your heart. Today, fill yourself with Christ. Today, right now, when you're watching this, take time right now to maybe pause this video and to sit in some prayer, in some silence, and to fill yourself with the Holy Spirit and guard your heart above all else, above work, above money, above working out, above relationships, above all else, guard your heart. And so how do we guard our heart? Is we focus on the Lord. How do we guard our heart? We focus on Him. We spend time in the Word. We spend time with people who their fruit is looks pretty good. You can see it, you can hear it, you can watch it, you know it, you believe it. It's not words, it's not messages, it's not sermons. It is like who this person is, period. That's the people you want speaking into your life. And so you got to guard your heart. Even when it comes to therapist and therapy, like you can go to therapist and be like, hey, I went to therapy. You know, I went and saw a counselor. But was that counselor speaking truth into your life? And is the truth from the Lord? Man, that's tough. So when I go to a therapist, again, I went to a new therapist yesterday. One of my biggest questions is, and I asked, because I actually did an interview. I interviewed the therapist before I even went in and met with her. And I asked, so are you a Christian? Yes. And which I like, but I also don't want them to be like the super spiritual Christian who like, man, we're going to open the Bible and we're going to, I don't really love that when it comes to therapy. But this person was giving me truth and I loved it. And so we gotta watch out who we allow into our spaces and who we allow into our influence, because we got to guard our heart. And so when it comes to setting up boundaries, you need to guard your heart. Set up the boundaries, especially from the enemy. Set up the boundaries. Like you are not going to allow. You are not coming into this, but you are not. Above all else, guard your heart. for everything flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. So, man, that was fun. That was really good. I'm excited about that. I hope that you guys are doing good. Those of you that are still on here, and thank you so much for watching. Let's see who's on here. Amber Easley, good to see you. Monica, uh, Dennis Goodine, my man. So great to see you guys on here. I hope everybody is doing amazing. If I can do anything for you, anything at all, I don't know what that is, but reach out. Tonight, I want to give another plug for tonight. We have a group coaching call that I think you would love. Or maybe you have a family member that, man, they just want to get connected. They're wanting to find some sort of a community. This is a great place for you to jump into. Tonight at 7:30 Central Standard Time, we are having a group coaching call with me and some of the people in the community. So if you can get it, you can go to nextstepcoach.org/COH_. So Circle of Hope. Man, come on. It's going to be good. I hope you have a great day. If I can do anything, let me know.